live, go live, it says, and hopefully I am. It looks like the stream is going.
Yes.
So, hello, my friends and fellow second Benjaministrians, Benjaministrians. Ben here from Second Dynasty. It's Friday. We're doing a live stream. We do this every Friday. Like and sub if you have not already, or maybe it's not your thing, but it does help us out. And yeah, welcome to the chat, everyone. I'm just going to say a quick g'day before we get started. Let's see who we got. We have, quite a bit of chat going on. John is here.
Woo.
Nice to see John. Jeff Jedi is here. Shergol is here. Will Richards is here. I said Shergol, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clive is here. Tamsin, welcome. And Carbonhead, of course, in the chat is Albin, who you hear in the background. Lisa Lott is with us as well, which is painting away in quite upptagen. And Anders Läcker also says hi.
Mm-hmm.
So, welcome to the chat, and yeah, let's just have a great hang. Hey, Omnito. I saw there Jeff Jedi was saying, did anyone see the MMF Frontier that made $5 million? It has made a lot of money, but I have to point out, not on my mini factory. Yes, they have made hundreds of thousands of dollars on my mini factory, which is fantastic and of note by itself. But it was a Kickstarter, and I have word that my mini factory are finally allowing you to carry over the crowdfunding figures you've made on other platforms. Which would have made a massive difference for us in the past, but hey, moving forward, excellent news. So yeah, that's where that is. We have had a very busy week. Alvin was absent last week for a little bit, so we have played catch up. And we finally got all 5 ships with some sort of printout. Particularly the 3 new ones, which are the Valkyrie. This version in this scene is actually not the latest version, as Albin has been working on his own scene, which is necessary. He finally gets his own ship.
Woo!
We won't mention that I designed the initial sketch for it or anything, but maybe I have issues of letting go of control. Notably, the Ratatosk has gotten a new tri-engine, which I think came out really, really cool. I decided to make this default just because it does make the ship more distinct by itself. Although it should be completely compatible, so if you wanted to put this engine set on the back of the Nidhogg, you could, and vice versa. And then we have, in addition, you can see here what we're calling the Fenrir, which is our sort of Notanante configuration of the Sleipnir. I haven't duplicated the geometry in this scene for that. I might just save this up and we can load up the animation that I've been... Actually, the easier thing than showing the animation is to just show the little teaser video I put together. It's really rough, I'm sorry about that, but this is what happens when we are crunching ASM. So let me replay the video that I set up as a trailer. I keep forgetting that the sources being on or off carries over from one scene to the next in OBS, so sorry about that. All I was really doing is bagmouth and John's complaints about the office space conditions. We do all of this just to get on his nerves. So yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah, so I was going to just open up that scene. I'm re-rendering the same one. Found a sneaky way to get around Maya licensing issues so I can actually run an extra copy at home. It seems like it logs you out and you can't do anything more in Maya, but say you're running a batch render, it keeps going. So let's just have this load in. I think it might be syncing. Not sure. Here we go. This looks better. Well, doesn't look better, but we have our scene. Let's just boost the gamma a little bit. Oh, whoops. I forgot the camera is animated. So we've got the rear camera. So this is the new animation for the rear camera with the Sleipnir popping in. And we have the front camera there. So let's start back here. We zoom out. Actually, why don't we just play this on the... This should actually be a 1. And then we play in real time. Actually, let's make sure that is real time. Play every frame. 24 playback. Wait, play every frame max. Okay, it's maxed out to the actual frame rate, which is 24 in this. It's actually 30 in the existing one. Let's replay this. So you guys just have a view of what's going on. This is slowed down, it seems. But yeah, so there's a little bit more going on in this animation than the other one. It's all crazy close anyway, it's not practical. A little bit of sound effects just to make it look a little bit more interesting, I guess. And there we go. So yeah, that's what I've been working on in the background, and then actually I'm more in some wacky other scenes as well. So I'm going to explain this, but I'll need to get back into that previous scene, and whilst I'm doing that, what's my project set to? Starship 5, and then recent files should be this one. Don't save. Blender is what Third Dynasty will use to make spaceships. Yeah, over my dead body. Like, literally, that would be the Third Dynasty. Or it's just the cult of Benjamin. John, did you want me to go over the changes at all to the tribe today? Because I don't know if you guys know or not, but Second Dynasty Day is coming up. Is it this weekend or next weekend? No, okay, we're going to wait with that one. I think it's next weekend that we get the promotion, so I don't want to create confusions. Benjamin, it looks like he's already been blended. Out of scope for stream. Alright, fine, John. What, you're going to do another one of your secret streams? I didn't actually watch the last one. He's done at least 3? No, two of them, right? So, this was the initial concept for the Valkyria, and let me switch to our close-up camera and you guys can see the result of that. So this is the smallest ship. We're adding a few more tiny features, like I think what we're going to work on today is these little clip holes, what we can put in them. Because for some reason I'd put the RCS down there. Yeah, I don't know. We need to find the right balance for this thing. It's got some interesting angles. We also can see on the top there's 2 clip holes empty there for some additional antennae. And at present, Alban did this nice little airlock extension thing that juts out. But that does have the sad effect of almost, I would say, getting in the way of that RCS. So we've talked about ways we might deal with that as well. So there might be a few refinements before the end, but this version is going down into the cellar right now, right?
Yeah.
He's actually waiting for me to show this off. So I did take a video where I previewed all of the ships together. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Good luck in the dungeon.
Ooh, yeah. I sent a pic of the extra. What would you even call that? Like a radar dome?
Oh yes. Okay. Let's see. Let's open this in the browser and move this over. So there we go. So there's a couple of little extra sensors here that he's just designed, and of course these will be compatible with other ones as well. In practice, you know, if that's some kind of radar, you probably don't want those sensor towers in the way of that, but we'll see what we can do with some of our features and that. And I'm looking forward to seeing these things go into the Nernies. Also, of important to note, we did break up these new versions of these towers did have a notorious issue of like bits and pieces falling off, and we've actually redesigned it so now the prongs are inserts, and the masts themselves are also slot down, so it's not all one piece. So you're not going to have to reprint a bunch if you accidentally break it. You can just do the section that you have an issue with. I think that'll end up being a good result there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kathy is here. Welcome. Brian says, this is the small ship, it's still bigger than his head. Well, I have a small head. Kind of. I don't know. I kind of want to punt it somewhere. Alright. It only looks chubby because it's vertically challenged. It's kind of football shaped. It is kind of football shaped. And by football, I think you mean like a footy. Like or I guess a gridiron ball. American football ball is quite similar to a rugby ball. Yeah, anyway, what was I going to do? That's right. I actually have been working on converting some of John's... Whoops, that was not what I meant to click. Let's see. So I'm working on this thing at the moment, but I've also been working on... Whoops. Let's see, recent files. I want to go to this one. See, I really didn't have much of a plan for this thing because we've really just been pushing out everything. We're kind of getting into that point in time where we just really need to get things out. So I've been doing some PDC variants. You can kind of see the way the ammo is stored. Obviously, we'll need to do some new weapons as well, but I like this one that I'm working on now with a sort of side ammo drum. It should fit a little bit more snugly too than a lot of these designs. You can see our sort of CWIS version there. And you can see a lot of iteration. John went back and redesigned the housing for these so it prints much better. So we used to have an issue where these doors were quite floppy. I'm not sure if this is animated or not. I guess the actual turret is, but the doors were quite floppy and wouldn't close properly. So he's added in some functionality that helps keep them closed. It still maintains the print in place functionality. And I've just been making some additional modifications, in particular of our original assembly. So now, before we used to have, this had its own peg sticking out. Now I've made it compatible with our existing pegs, so it'll be much stronger. I've added in, you can kind of see the iterations here. So these stoppers used to be in, I've added some sort of like extrusions here that'll help keep it snug in its track, and I even added some on the side there, so it just holds in place a little bit better. It won't work forever, but much better than it used to. And the final iteration, I added a third bar here. I've shortened the bottom area because I realized that when I had this version, you can see there's actually some intersection going on there, so it's not supposed to go through there. I needed a shorter version, and I'm kind of like in the process of test printing it. Like, I can show you guys. Sorry, many ums today. So here is, this is actually with the little window for the CWiz version. You can kind of see the doors, how they're not flopping around, right? They keep their positions. They fit into place a little bit better. I wouldn't say it's perfect. I do need to do a little bit of cleanup, but in general, good stuff. This is not the final version by any means, but let me grab this. So you can just see this is a bit stiffer than it used to be, and that sort of snaps into place now, locks into place. I got a little bit more leeway with this, but still, it doesn't take much weight. And then let's get it into the track. Let's see if I can do this on camera, because I'm really sucky at coordinating. Let's see, we need that to be there. So the idea would be you thread it through the bottom here, and we get it down into the track, and immediately you can see there's a lot more resistance in this track. I've also, just in the most recent iteration, just thickened up these sort of like struts, because it does print vertically like this. And then we need to slide this up through the track. I'm trying to do this in, so you can hear the give, I think. And then this would flip up, and I realized I've put this in upside down, which is rather annoying. Let me just quickly fix that, and we'll reorient. If I don't break it, which I may well do. When these are print in place, they do, only have so much give, but once you paint this too, it should give it a new lease on life. Okay, so I've got it back approximately where it was. This will come down there. You can have this fold out, like so, and the, let's see, I think I have the CWiz thing here. This is a bit heavy, and maybe needs some further adaptation. But you can kind of see there that you've got your turret there on this rail, and we could actually put that up a bit further if you want it more in a different position, upside down or whatnot. So, yeah, sorry, I'm playing with it off camera. It's weird saying like I'm working, but I'm playing at the same time. So it isn't perfect, but it is better than the original by far. So thank you, John, for helping sort of refine that. Let me get back so I can see my chat. Let's see, it turns the enemy into Swiss cheese. Only 10 days. Yeah, until launch, yes. It's kind of crazy. And we've almost got 500 people signed up, which is a really good sign. We've got marketing coming in for BackerKit. No idea how it's going to do. I have high hopes. It is going to be what seems expensive, at least to me, but because we have to do the campaign in Swedish crowns, because we get it, the payment system is through Stripe. So it's going to be in Swedish crowns, which is basically add a zero, or take off a zero rather, and you'll get the amount in US dollars approximately. I think it'll be a little bit more beneficial because it's something like 10.5 crowns to the dollar. And no doubt as the world economy gets a bit shaky in the next few weeks, that could go up and down depending on, I guess, the day of the week. So we'll see what happens. But from what I understand, BackerKit is just like Kickstarter. They don't collect your pledge until the end of the campaign. And we will have versions where you either get all 5 ships. Well, you can pick individual ships. You can pick, just the 3 new ships. if you want the refits of the Sleipnir, because it is practically a new ship. It's kind of like, I would almost like compare it to the difference between the TV Enterprise and the Enterprise refit from the motion picture. It shares a lot of similar features, but it's actually quite different. The main thing is the interiors, which sadly are not completely complete at this point in time. Obviously let's see, I can turn off a few decks here so we can look down into the med bay, for example. There's a lot more floor space. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but the furniture was sort of like, a lot of this stuff I've actually built into the walls now. It was its own sort of separate area. I think initially because I had the idea that, like the Rocinante, there would be like an inner hull and an outer hull, and it just was not shown. But here I've tried to make as much use of space as possible, favoring play over how it would be in real life. So it's kind of like a toy compromise, I guess. Like, you like the teaser, the painted ship looks great. Let's see, Ben posted a teaser video last night. Yes, I did. Like I said, it's got more work to do, and currently I am at frame 226 of the new one, so my home computer off 300. So tonight I should have an updated version which might go into our pitch film. I'm not sure. Obviously we need to get a studio sort of filming together. Unfortunately it's not going to be as good as Sleipnir, we just don't have the time. But yes, I am, John. I'm slowly being won over to the toy language design. These are ultimately, they need to be practical, is the thing. So compromise is important. This scene is mostly for reference at this point in time, but you can kind of see the 3 new ships. I don't know, are you guys excited for this? Like, what ship are you looking forward to the most? I absolutely love the new engines for this ship. I think it looks really cool. And yeah, these aren't compatible with any particular light kit, so I've just left the same sort of design features in so you could kit it up with a light if you know how to do that. I don't. I haven't talked to Zoromar in a long time, but from what I understand, he couldn't quite make the business work. Like, not enough volume, which is understandable. I didn't think it would be a huge amount of volume. The other thing too is we are going to continue doing physical ships, although I think our current plan, and this is prone to change, is that we're going to offer like the Valkyria, and then on John's site you'll be able to update that to whichever ship you want, add additional ships and whatnot. There's kind of like positives and negatives with that. I kind of like the idea. I'd like a lot of upfront funding so I can build the Persephone with the right budget, which is kind of insane to say because I know how much money it's going to cost. And yeah, you love them all. More tail sitters. Well, I'm thinking less smaller stretch goals and actually maybe more ship variants. Like more specifically, here is a new ship, it has this, you'll be able to use the parts if you want, but we'll have an intentional design with it. So for example, we've talked for a long time about using, maybe turning the sphere into its own ship, and I was thinking like, you could kind of have a cylinder ship, maybe you could do, yeah, something like that. Yeah, the only problem I find with the teaser is kind of like the material, obviously, from our Starship 5 stuff is actually cooler because we had the budget and time. I had a smaller team. I was in the same workshop as Dokus, and Mikye made that wonderful set for us. You know, we got Brian to paint it up. We just had a little bit more time. And obviously, I have more employees now, so it just, you know, and we have tribes to take care of, so there's a lot of things to get doing and done in a limited amount of time. So it's kind of ironic. There's like the more staff we have, the less time I have to do modeling, and also the less budget we have to make things work. But yeah, we are getting stuff done slowly. I wouldn't even say slowly. By the way, Fifth Frontier War news, there are some changes. Some are quite interesting. For example, Mongoose. Remember how I said that rather than having... let me see, I need to change this to Traveler 5. Let's open up our Gripen, which is no longer the Gripen, it is the Korpen, or Korpen rather. Let's just save that real quick. I'm not sure I actually did anything in that scene, I'm just windbagging on. It feels like I just talk for about 40 minutes each episode and then maybe do something the last 20. There are some changes, and part of that was because Mongoose started this up, and I think... Yeah, this was sent to me, so I guess I'm not sure if this is officially to share, but you'll get some idea about this now. So the Korpen is a TL12 fighter, not a TL10, and actually does have a Thrust 6 M drive. But it does have some high burn thruster, so it can catch up to Gripen, but only for 20 minutes. Anyway, I'm not going to show off that for too long. But Matthew asked me to modify it so we could have art that fits with it. And he said, why don't we change the rocket motor so that we just say that is the that is your maneuver drive, and keep it a maneuver drive 6, and then it's like we needed these boosters. So I actually thought, hey, what would be cool and futuristic and never really happened? And so maybe people that know anything about rocket engines will recognize this design. Which I at least got to keep those two. My other suggested version was just doing one giant version on the top like this, but we went for this design, which I think is fairly true to the original concept. Still looks cool. Anyone noticing what these are? So there is a particular kind of rocket engine, kazoos. And I'm blanking on it right now, which is a part of the reason why I'm asking you guys if you recognize what it is. There's a type of rocket engine which directs the thrust down a kind of ramp to increase its efficiency in atmospheric operation. It's not a ramjet, no, these are rocket engines. I'm blanking on it right now. I could probably dig through my emails to Matthew because, anyway. Let me look it up real quick. Let's see. See, this is where we need Shadow Lego. Yeah, the Aerospike Shurgle. Aerospikes. That's it. Yes, Aerospikes. That's the word I was looking for. So, I'm going to update the file, so this will be an option. I guess it will make more sense in the production run to do this version, since that will be the official Mongoose design. Yes, they are Aerospikes. It just directs, it has a lot of smaller engine nozzles that direct the thrust down. Let me see if I can, we can have, like, this is a good picture of it. And then maybe we can move this over there. This is an Aerospike. It's sort of like a flat surface instead. Although there are like rounder versions as well. and they're more efficient in the atmosphere itself, from what I understand. Really cool looking, not very used so often, so I thought, hey, this would be a nice little touch. Anyway, that's I just wanted to share that real quick. And aside from that, we do also have some finished miniatures. Let me just see if I can go into our staff Discord. I think I showed off Duchess Delphine. Oh, Discord is not showing me pictures. Let's see. So currently we're in production is the Zidani male noble, the Emblem Boo, and Duchess Delphine, which at least she has started, but I don't know why, but the picture's not refreshing here. So we do have ongoing work on the Fifth Frontier War, and after that I believe it is just the Zidani war bots. Is that it? I think it's called Warbots. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at for that. Otherwise, I've been fully focused on getting this out. So let me just open up. Actually, I'm going to open up my Nonies and Greebles one. So I need to change this back to there, and we'll go into here. So I've been working in these catalogs. I am excited because there's going to be official artwork based on my renders. So this is our first fully official Second Dynasty design that makes it into Mongoose Traveler. That is exciting. Thank you, John, for that. Yes, the aerospike was all experimental. Nothing has actually been implemented yet. So I wish I had the physical models still, but there are some bits and bobs on the Valkyria shuttle, for example, where we could have mirrored the RCS, but it looks too busy. So I was thinking we put on some more antennae, maybe with some asymmetry. So like, I was thinking we would just design a few different options using a half clip to start with. So I've kind of taken, like this scene, I've just dumped a bunch of different geometry into it that we want to use as a library eventually. Like the same thing that I've done here for our turrets, right? I am doing for Nonies and Greebles, or Greeblies. So you can see a lot of recycled items in here, although this is not sorted yet. The idea being, when we build a new ship, it's like, okay, we need control panels. All right, we can mix and match this, and this is probably something we'll be doing moving forward with the tribes too, once we're fully decided how the changes are going to be made. But a number of the frustrations with the antenna that we have, for example, on the Typhon, and even to some degree some of the antennae we have on these new ships, is that they print vertically and they're not that strong. So having bits and bobs that print horizontally instead allows for maximum part strength. Do we have all the results of the Bacchus Choice miniature poll? Oh, right, yes. Where are we at with that? That's a good question. I haven't got it up at this point in time. But yes, that will be determined. Maybe we should even run a second poll based on like the top contenders, because you do get to choose all of the ones that you want. And then we'll get people to choose the one they like, just solidify it to one thing. That's probably the best idea. So yes, that is also the final thing then that needs doing. And I think we'll probably do like a full 5 pose run, depending on what it ends up being. And then just pick one pose, something like that. So I've got this design, which you can see has just been stretched out. I probably should have just redone some of these elements from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to do is probably cut this up into 2, and let's just try and run a split down the middle and see where that lands us. So they're not perfect here. I'm gonna say do this, and then we'll just cut this up. And part of the reason for that is I just want to half of this so we can mirror it. And I'm going to keep looking for some asymmetry here. This is just like recycling existing parts. Because often it's a much quicker process to start with existing geometry rather than from scratch. And there's some elements in this I'll keep, some I'll get rid of. One of the things I'll probably do here is just select these indentations, and I'm going to switch this over to selecting just these lines. So the idea would be that we want to create flat surfaces on this again. So I think we'll get rid of some of these. We'll keep those. Or will we? No, we'll get rid of all of them. Yeah, that made a mess. So it's going to be ugly color-wise at the moment. And this might be a case of really I should have just restarted the process. But hey, we're here now. Let's deal with it. I think I'm just going to see what we end up with and then reconstruct. And some of these might not behave either, so just looking to avoid artifacts. And this part in the middle probably needs an extrusion from there to here. Just so we can get, whoops, I think we need that to be aligned like so. And maybe we can just add in a little vertex here and there. Oh, it's Valentine's Day today. Happy Valentine's Day, my beloved fans. Yeah, anyone doing anything special for their loved ones and or pets? Let's see. Do you have any guns that work when it's standing upright? When what is standing upright? Sorry. Your library seems to have disintegrated. Do we have the results? Sorry, yeah. Eric, what do you mean guns that work when it's standing upright? Like just pointing upwards? Because a lot of the barrels can rotate up. And then some turrets in particular, like for example, I think this one here is designed for the underside of a ship. I kind of feel like I have something here that's a side turret, but not sure. Yeah, most print upright for the actual turrets, and like this is the position for the actual when they print, so you get the best detail. But yeah, for the turrets themselves in any case. Aesir fleet ships. What do you mean? Guns that work? Oh, you mean like a railgun? Because like we do have on one of the ships that has like a spinal mounted railgun, but the turrets work. I think. Let's see. Save scene again. Let's just go back to our. I have a feeling I've broken the animations, but maybe we could just grab the one from this scene. Kathy says, to make single people feel even better on Valentine's Day, one of the headlines today was that it costs on average $2,500 more a year if you are single. Oh. Yeah. And that's pounds as well, so that's what, an extra 500. That's $3,000 US, something like that. Lovely. So I know there's animation still intact in this scene, which is why I'm showing this off. Let me see. I have a different camera set up. Left, and then let's lift this, and so the turret ports. Let's just isolate the Fenrir here. So the turret ports open like on the Rocinante, and then you can sort of point them in any direction. You'll notice here there's like a spinal railgun. That's what we've got at the moment. We probably will have some variants where we can support our regular sort of turrets. I was thinking of one where the nose is actually like a laser lens. I think that could be interesting. Oh, it's the death of Captain Cook Day? I don't have any particular problem with Captain Cook per se. I think it was pretty much Arthur Phillip that came after with the First Fleet that was more of an issue. But anyway. Cook was like an explorer for the most part. I guess he did kind of claim the East Coast route for the UK. I think it was the UK at that point. Anyway, don't know if Northern Ireland was a part of it at the time. Yes, it does have some serious weapons. And all of these ships have, they are mostly military vessels. So, for example, yeah, they're not unarmed, is the point. Let me get on with this. So we do need to add back in, because we're sort of running this on an angle, I'd like to get more of an angle in it, and I think the easiest way to do this is actually to just take this and rotate it. Oh, that's way too much. Let's try and fiddle with our, see here we have this set to 15 degrees at a time. Let's set this to 5 and see what 5 degrees gets us. Even that's too much. So I'm going to go to 2.5 and see how that looks. So just a little bit of a downward slope there. And then to be perfectly honest, even that is too much. So I'm going to just turn off my snapping. Sorry about that. I always forget to drink. The UK and all of Ireland at the time. Oh yeah, of course. Silly me. It wasn't until what, 1916 that the Troubles started. Such an Irish thing to just call it the Troubles instead of a civil war. Well, a guerrilla civil war. So I'm just sort of like trying to find a good compromise and balance here so that it has a little bit of a slope and shape to it, because I still want to keep something similar-ish to what we originally had. This business here, I'm not sure if this is good or bad. We'll see how it looks on the whole. I'm thinking probably we might just I think what we'll do is we'll move this and snap it to here, and then we'll just slide it down halfway to there. Gives us a sort of interesting point. It probably won't be as pointed when you print it out, but yeah, we'll see. And then I'd like to see some more patterns in this again. So let's add back some lines. And I think we could probably get a few variants of this done before we have to wrap things up. So I never do the thing where it's like, and here's a few I prepared earlier. I should do that. Alright, sometimes it helps to select all of this and then simply move the pivots and scale it back. It's one of those sort of like more advanced Maya well, it's not an advanced trick per se, but like I don't like how thick that got. I think we're gonna move that there. And you can kind of see this orientation doesn't quite fit. Let's move the pivot point to there. And then I want to snap this to my grid. So we have this clip, and I was kind of thinking like we can have a variant where this sticks out. We can have a variant where you have two prongs and they might go in different directions. We can play with the scaling on this thing. Let's just make this all a uniform standard surface. And then let's just start creating a little bit of a shape. We've got an autosave. Apparently this scene has a lot of carryovers. I managed to clean my scene for the Sleipnir so much that I changed the load time from around about 30 seconds to about 5, which was a major boost in productivity, I can tell you. So now that these are sort of, normally I like snapping, but here we can kind of go by eye and see what looks good. And I think we might even come down here. And now we're just going to, and actually all of this top stuff here I think we can pull back down and snap to there. So this would just stick out from the hull, clipping from here, and you would have like, we might want some sort of ribbing along here just to increase the structural strength of it, although technically it will be pretty strong because you'll have that bottom layer there. Correction, Ireland at that time was occupied by England and didn't become the part of the UK until 1800. So yeah, about, what was it, 1770 I think was when Cook discovered the east coast of Australia. But it wasn't colonised until 1788. And that's when the troubles started. We get to have our own Murdoch election in just a short while. So that's a little bit too severe because I really want to create these indentations that we had going on before. So let's try a 0.5. That would be 0.5 of a millimeter for anyone that's wondering. And we'll do the same thing here. And then we can just grab these. And yeah, we'll start there. And I usually go in minus 0.3, minus 0.3. Kind of feels a bit, nah, that'll be alright. And then we'll just go in like minus 0.2, because that usually means that this is not so severe that there is droopage. Not that these will be flat, completely flat layers anyway, because we do have a bit of a slant. This is going to look a bit pixelated. And then it feels like this prong is a little bit boring at the moment. So let's just divide this up in maybe 3 lots. And here we can actually get really loose, I think. So let's look at this from the side. Let's see, where's our side view? Oops. And I'm actually just going to go like this. Doop. Doop. And actually that'll be enough. And then we're just going to grab these and we'll do the same thing that we did before, but we'll just make sure the faces are not together. So 0.5 and then in. This might require some adjustment. No, it worked. We needed to worry that these parts weren't intersecting. And of course, like you're probably not going to get a perfect result. But like this is more interesting when you 3D print it, I think, than if it's just the same old boring version. I don't like these big thick lines, to be honest. I might actually undo some of these. So I'm going to select all these and delete. That should get us a triangle. It did not. Why did that happen? That should have erased it. It did not. What's going on here? Okay. It looks like it's all selected. So I might just delete this face. And we'll recreate this. But this time we'll grab this bit. Like so. And we'll go 0.5. And then we'll start going in. Looks like the audio waveforms from tap far away. Oh, right. I think I understand. On a lighter note, Cook was responsible for the naming of Dildo, Newfoundland. Well, it was a long voyage. I mean, they probably ran out of things as far as names were concerned. They did name quite a lot of things on that voyage. Him and Banks. Start came later. I think we'll do the same here. It's like yeah, I don't know how to explain this properly. I guess it's just tighten things up a little bit. This is going to be a problem area here, so I'm just going to slide this over a bit. And I think we should be good otherwise, so let's just select these again. My throat is a bit torn up today because I was seeing Mad Monkey Magic in the car on the way to work. I'm not going to do that on stream. Alright, let's go -0.2. And there we go. We've got some more uniformity. It's not truly uniform, but I think for our purposes it works. Really what I want to do right this second is kind of get this to a point where it can be test printed. And the next step would be to close this all up. So let's start by deleting the history, and we'll duplicate this. Let's mirror it in the, oh no, we weren't looking for the X, we were looking for the Z. I don't know why, but I have this habit of saying Z like in American English rather than Z in English. Oops. Let's mesh combine and merge our vertexes that should be in the middle. That thick line's gone away, which tells us our vertexes are all in alignment. And then we should technically be able to grab all of this, choose that side and bridge. Yeah. So this is all one coherent part now. And I would say, if we close this off, why don't we just start testing this in our slicer? So I'm going to close this. And we now have a starting point. So I'm going to keep these separate for now. So I've made a copy, so we can iterate. But let's join these together with a combine, delete the history, and then we do our export. So we're in resources. Let's go up to the workspace route, going to exports, and I'm just going to call this Noni. And then I guess Pointy Spike. No, Sharp Antenna. I don't know, something like that. It might get renamed in the future. The main thing is that I just wanted to see how it works. You can kind of see here the new engine block for the I was going to say the Raven, but I mean Corbin. So also it got a new weapon. I forgot to show that off. That's more based on the Traveler style. Let's go and grab that STL file. I think it's maybe in exports. Yep, Sharp Antenna. And so much for getting a second one done in time. But we have the basics there. It looks like there's no errors detected. Let's try slicing it and see what we get. So it will be a little bit pixely in this direction, but you could quite easily just sand that a little bit to get it looking a bit sharper. And this kind of shape too sands a lot better. But you get all that structural support. Like I said, the only thing we might consider is, for example, if we let's see, do we have the Typhon antennae there? I don't think we have we have the front one there. So actually this scene is already a mess, so why don't we grab some of these ones. Oh, because they're not aligned correctly. Yeah, this is not the scene to do it in. Let's grab it from there, and we can quickly maybe reuse some parts here. So let's get that down onto an even level. So really quickly what we could do is just could almost just like take these, extrude it 1 millimeter, something like that, and then just grab these, flatten it, move it a little bit. Oops, we want this to be, our grid's very very large at the moment, so something like that. Maybe we draw these corners back a little bit to say there, and then if we extrude once again, but just out like so, and then again but like this, and then we can actually just make this like we make another extrusion down to the bottom. Oops, did that work? Yes. And we just want to thin this out a little bit, and I think the way to do it will be to grab this side, move the pivot point over to there, grab this side as well, and then we just maybe, I think we, yeah, if we move this over to there, we get more of that sort of shape on the outside, and it looks more deliberate. So we could actually probably just take this side in and have the same results. And actually, if we then take this shape as well and do the same thing, you get a similar sort of result. And let's have a look at what that looks like. Whoops. When we export this again. So this should provide, yet again, a little bit more structural stability. Just right over the top of this one. And, you know, this is just, if we look at the first layer, oh, we want to join these parts again. That's all we want to do. Sorry, I keep going to the wrong scene. So all we really need to do is just pull this over to there. over to there. So it is physically apart. And actually, if we just extrude these a tiny bit too, let's just go up 0.4. Yeah, that'll be fine. It just looks like there's like some kind of connection. We're still at a scale where it doesn't matter so much. And we go back to this one, reload from the disk, and let's just see how it looks. And again, I just want to come down to that first layer. And you can see here, we'll get some additional support from the layers above. This gap probably isn't the best, but we will get a lot of structural support from like layer 2 and 3. So you can see it's getting thicker and thicker. And this will just provide something that we can clip in to an existing port, but it will be very strong and won't break easily. It will have some flexibility. AHH Windows sounds. I shall destroy them, sir. You scared me. What? Sleeve grabber is a good name for it. Yeah, anyway, I think that should shore up the this. I'm going to go and test print it and iterate on it, and then probably knock off the weekend. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend yourselves. And we shall be back next week with only a couple of days to go before launch. So, looking forward to that. It's been a slug, but excited to see what the reception is going to be on the Aesir fleet when it is out. And beyond that, finally, Persephone. Alright guys, have a wonderful weekend. Bye.